Welcome back, YouTube, to more MSQ playthrough. We are trying to wrap up Shadowbringers. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. We're at the bottom of the Tempest now. We just arrived on Bismarck. Full glad am I that Bismarck was true to his word. We are arrived in the Tempest, safe and dry. 'Tis here that we shall find the lair of MSQ, and I believe the imprisoned Exarch as well. For an Ascian alone, it is of course a trifling matter to flee unto the rift, yet I suspect such travel is nigh impossible with a mortal in one's custody. Nay, he would not soon risk his prize when the Exarch's very body serveth as the key to the Crystal Tower and its powers of temporal transportation. Thus am I all but certain that this underwater realm harboreth our friend and enemy both. We have but to find them. As for where we should be looking, I rather doubt MSQ will be sitting around out in the open. I propose we follow the slope down towards the deeper trenches and keep an eye out for rock formations large enough to house a stronghold. Let's be off then. But watch your footing. The ground is still wet and I like to be slippery. And I like to be slippery is hilarious. That's alright, we'll ride Cloud's bike. That's what we'll do. Alright, we're going way south. It's crazy that this is all just because of Bismarck's breath. This is it's like that is massive. What a power. What a primal. What a fae. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. The Finless ones, they followed me. Why have you come? Was it you who took away our water? Ah, so this is where the Ondo make their home. I had wondered. Pray forgive us any inconvenience we have caused. We were not aware your people lived here in the Tempest. We need this great dome of air that we might conduct a most urgent search, and thus beg you for your understanding. Chieftain, what are we to do? Are you emissaries of the Ancient Ones? The mysteries have stirred. We have seen the illuminated land shining through the gloom of the abyss. If you are the emissaries, the chosen, I bid you welcome. If you are not, I bid you leave. I am not sure I understand. Would you be willing to elaborate? It would seem not. I suggest we withdraw for the moment. What's the plan? Given your condition, I'm reluctant to suggest lingering here. That said, our presently meandering search would proceed far more swiftly if we could call upon the Ondo's local knowledge. Yes, I'd like to know more about this illuminated land the chieftain spoke of. Could it be Emmet Selk's stronghold, do you suppose? Perhaps he lit the lanterns upon his return. We cannot dismiss the possibility, but if these Ondo refuse to speak with us... Misk, do you remember my first scheme for entering Yulmore? I had planned to ingratiate myself by offering lucrative trading opportunities with the Ondo. The individual I dealt with was reticent in manner and curious in custom, but we were able to reach an agreement nonetheless. I believe that with the right approach, we can build a similar relationship here. What kind of approach did you have in mind? That chieftain fellow didn't leave us many options. If we are to tread the swiftest course, then we must needs locate its beginning. Displain our all too dramatic arrival have thrown this settlement into confusion. Were we to solve such problems as we have caused, and assure our host thereby that our purpose here is not inimical to them, they may yet prove amenable to reason. I smell chores, but very well, if it can be done quickly. What do you think? I've nothing better to offer, but I do worry what will happen if the Ondo's tales end up leading us to a dead end. I cannot say for certain, but I sense this tribe has a deeper connection to the Asians than first meets the eye. It warrants further investigation. Thus, I cast my vote in favor of aiding the settlement for the time being. We will make allies of the Ondo. Then it is settled. Ishtola, pray proceed with your investigations. The rest of us will see about fostering some goodwill. Misk, you won't believe who I just jumped into. This is Posh Son, the very fellow I did business with prior to our ill-fated stay in Yulmore. I waited and you did not come. Then the Mistel came, but his visits did not continue. I am truly sorry, Posh Son. Things did not proceed as planned. Is there aught we can do for you by way of an apology?
Perhaps. Where the dry return, a cavern to the north is home to giant crabs. We do not fear the crab, for we are the swiftest swimmers. But now there is no water. We run and they scuttle close behind, snipping and snapping with their claws. There are too many of them. Too many.
I believe I can be of assistance there. And what of you, Amask? If you've not found a task, you are most welcome to join me. Indeed, I should appreciate the company. But the dry return has a rather ominous ring to it. That is so far north.
You could crack their shells. You must be stronger than you look.
I see you've reached your quota first again. I shall never be your equal in such tasks. Still, I would say we have reduced the local crab population to a far less threatening number.
My thanks to both of you. You must have a reward.
Nay, Portian, this was to be a part of my apology to you, remember? Besides which, the lack of water is our doing, for which we must also make amends. Might I convince you to tell us something about your village instead? I would very much like to learn more of you and your people.
Very well. Before the flood came, it is said that our ancestral home was found in the seas to the south. It was utterly destroyed by the light. Only those who were out hunting survived. They swam, aimless and lost, until they spied buildings here on the ocean floor. Strange buildings they were, and long had they stood under the water, yet somehow they had been spared the scars of time and current. These structures provided shelter for my people, protection from the tempest's turbulent waters and the predators which hunted within them. Their very existence seemed a miracle. The first settlers pondered their good fortune. It was clear that the race who had built such wonders had guided their course, and from this did they discern the truth. The ancients had chosen us to serve as caretakers of their eternal sanctuary until such time as they returned. Thus, if it is judged that your coming, and this great vanishing of water, was by the ancients' design, you will find warm welcome here. A truly astonishing history, yet I cannot help but wonder, how will the significance, or otherwise, of our arrival be decided? The ancients have blessed us with protection and prosperity. If your presence serves to bring us the same, there will be no doubt in the matter.
It would seem our earlier decision was the correct one. We thank you for the lesson, Portian, and will continue to do all we can to assist your people. Should you desire our help with any other trouble, pray do not hesitate to ask. We should return to the task at hand. Only do try not to overexert yourself, my friend. The risk far outweighs the gain. MSQ, have you learned aught of note? Fascinating, and precisely the sort of information I was hoping to hear. In fact, if you have a moment, I'd like to borrow your eyes to confirm a theory I've been working on. Now, there are two tasks I would have you perform. The first requires you to inspect the buildings which surround the Ando settlement and note their most distinctive characteristics. For the second, I wish you to use this knife to take scrapings from one of the remnant walls. Pray be as thorough as you can. I shall be waiting here for the results of your investigations. Remnants of the fiend's last meal covered in red flakes of some sort. Am I supposed to do something with this? Oh, the knife? Maybe not. You set the point of the knife against the wall, but even after applying considerable pressure, you cannot remove so much as a flake of stone. Oh, that was part of the fate? That wasn't even part of what I was supposed to be doing. Inspect the structures which comprise the Ondo cups and identify their most distinctive feature. Distinctive window. The tall, slender towers feature many elaborate windows, the likes of which you have seen nowhere else. And what have you discovered? Yes, I would agree that the windows are most distinctive. It would seem the structures appear the same to both your sight and mine. And you say you could not so much scratch the wall, even with all your might behind the blade? MSQ. Everywhere I turn in this place, my gaze is drawn by peculiar materials for which I do not have a name. The buildings I had you investigate are prime examples. They may appear to be constructed of ordinary stone, but I assure you it is nothing of the sort. If pressed, I would describe the substance as a composite of several mineral properties blended to create a material of unparalleled durability. Even the Ronkin Empire, once the greatest power in Norvrond, produced nothing which compares to this level of perfection. But if not the Ronkins, then who? Who were these ancients the Ondo claim as the architects of their sanctuary? I suspect our answers lie within reason, that MSQ withdrew here to the Tempest. They may simply have wished to retreat somewhere where mere mortals would struggle to reach. But there are many such remote locations. Why here specifically? MSQ is devoted to his role, and thus we might assume his choice of stronghold somehow serves the Asian agenda. Or mayhap, it's a place more clear to him than any other. Are you saying this was built by the ancient Ancients? It is my theory that these structures are remnants of a time before history, of a star that was yet whole and unbroken. Such traces in the source would have been obliterated by the succession of umbral calamities, but here in the first they might have remained untouched for millennia. A copy of the mural in the Katana Revel. Almat presented it to me during my first visit to Fanau, after our victory in Clusia. Here, in the first scene, by MSQ's own words, it depicts a city of eons past and the disaster which befell it. The design is much simplified, of course, but do you see the similarities between its towers and those you have just inspected? We are close to the truth, I feel. Let us search the surrounds for another tower, one which matches the picture near enough to remove all doubt. From what I have seen, not more than sand lies to the east, and the south held no such structures. I suggest we try our luck further to the northwest. You may view the Katana Revel mural at any time during this quest by using the relevant item in the key items. The quest destination will not be displayed on the map. You must search for a structure which resembles the buildings in the mural, then inspect it from the survey point. The survey point will be found nearby in a location which allows a full view of the structure. What? Find a structure which resembles those in the copy of the Katana Revel mural, then inspect it from a survey point. In the area northwest of the Ondo Cups. You know what? I'm gonna probably wander around aimlessly, so I'm just gonna pause the recording, so we'll see you once we find where we're supposed to be. And it was just around the corner, actually. There's a structure here. First, we're gonna get the Aether Current, which caught my eye. And this brought me to the survey point here. Yeah, this structure here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize that little green thing in the middle. That's exactly what this is. This is the mural writ large. Though I cannot guess at its purpose, it must have been an imposing sight. How much of the tower height lies beneath the ground, I wonder. Centuries of our history have settled upon such ruins. Countless layers of dust and sediment, an entire civilization and its existence forgotten by all except a handful of Asians. And yet it did exist. They lived here, in this city. But let us focus on what we've learned thus far. The Ondo chieftain spoke of mysteries stirring, of a land illuminated. Judging by his words, he believes this phenomenon related to the Ancients' return. Thus can we surmise that what the Ondo saw shining in the abyss was, in all likelihood, yet another remnant of this age-old civilization. And who else would light the lanterns, as Rin put it, than Emet-Selch himself? 'Tis almost certain he is there. But if we are to find the stronghold in a timely manner, it seems gaining the Ondo's trust remains our swiftest path forward. I only hope our deeds are enough to win them over. Thank you for assisting me with my investigations. I shall seek out our companions and share what we have learned. Much as I would like to tell you to sit down and leave the rest to us, your condition demands that we make all reasonable haste. If you are not too weary, I may be useful to speak with Pashan again, and ask if there is aught else he is willing to divulge. I think we're coming up on the point where we can't progress further unless we've done one of the Crystarium role quests. And I think I might do that as part of the playthrough. I think it's important to the story. Ah, Alphanet's friend, you and your companions have done much to repair the damage caused when the waters parted. Anything else you can do? Have you been to the walls of the Forgotten? I think I just come from them. Remnants to the northwest, yes. You visited them unbidden. Could it be that your footsteps were guided by the ancients? I believe it may be so. Listen then, and I will tell you of our plans to bring light to the walls, that we might answer the shining call of the illuminated land. We have requested a finless craftsman to shape for us a sacred lamp. He is odd for a land dweller, choosing as he does to live in the ocean, but his skill is beyond question. It is concerning, however, that we have heard nothing of his progress. If you were to visit this artisan and return with our long-awaited light, then any doubt as to your purpose would be laid to rest. His name is Grinault. You will find his workshop in a metal structure to the south. Ah. To the south we go. Oh, that's just great, that is. Me mind's playing tricks on me now. Look, Grinault, someone's come to visit you at the bottom of the bloody ocean. Might as be as you're a ghost. Go on, foul shade. Feast yourself on me, rotten soul. I've got no use for it. A craftsman what can't craft is more pointless than a sea slug with a dome and hammer. And that's an insult to bloody sea slugs. Grinault appears to be suffering from a crushing bout of self-doubt. Maybe you can help psych him up. You wouldn't be trying to raise me spirits now, would you, spirit? Not what you'd expect from a servant of the netherworld. Have we met before? Might be as we cross paths back in the Crystarium, but I don't reckon we've been formally introduced. Name is Grinault, and this here is meant to be an underwater sanctuary, a place where I can give myself over to me work, far from the distractions of the outside world. And yet, here we stand. Now, what's so damned important that you dive all the way down to the bottom of the bleeding tempest to bother me? Ah, the Ando's lamp. Gods curse me, empty head, I've not so much as made a start. I'm worth less than a sea slug. Nay, the slime left by a sea slug. Me delivery dates long past, me workbenches untouched, and I call myself a bleeding artisan. You've heard their behalfs, haven't ye? Bring them light to the ruins. I'll be an act of deep religious and cultural significance. And it was my privilege as a craftsman to be tasked with providing a ritual instrument worthy of the occasion. But I just can't bloody well. Yeah. My mind's a bleeding blank. It's like I've pissed away me last drop of inspiration. Tell me you've got somewhat to show me. Somewhat as I'll give me mules a right good kick up the arse. The Ondo want to honor the coming of the ancients, so their answering light's got to be blazed with the right kind of brightness. Like the spark of life caught in a crystal. But just being a sparkly's not enough. It's got to dance with joy and sorrow and a sense of hardship endured. You know what I mean? Grenald seeks particular kind of inspiration, the kind that crystallizes only at the culmination of a long and tragic tale. Complete any of the role quest lines available at the Wandering Stairs in the Crystarium, then return to Grenald once more. We have our answer for us. We go to the Crystarium. Because we have to pick up the quest. I wasn't sure if we were going to need to do it, so... Or not need to do it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to do it on the recording. So I abandoned it so that we could pick it up again if it was pertinent, and it is. So... we're going to go ahead and do it on stream. On stream. I keep thinking we're live on recording. Alright, and we've got to talk to the one who's on the wall, because he's the tank. Can't say I've chatted with you before. Think I'd remember if I had. Seen your fair share of fighting, have you? And wary besides, eh? Rest assured, I've no secret designs. Name's Granson. Bounty hunter by trade, mostly sin-eaters. When I first laid eyes on you, I had a feeling you were a tough bastard. The sort that must get mistaken for that warrior darkness folks have been talking about recently. That right? Easy, killer. I couldn't care less who you are or what you've done. The only thing I'm looking for these days is a like-minded partner. Someone willing to join me in the hunt for the biggest prize this side of Norvrant. Prize, you say? Thought that'd grab your attention. Decaysines, the fiend I'm after. One of the so-called cardinal virtues, as folks are wont to call them. There were hopes that somehow the death of Vothri and the Wardens might have put an end to Decaysine. At last, no. Seems the rules that bind other sin-eaters don't apply to the virtues. Former warriors of light, the esteemed heroes who saved the realm a century ago. Dear old Brandon was one of them, I'm told. Stop me if you've heard this all before. Anyway, like his comrades, Brandon died in the process, only to return relatively recently as a sin-eater. The better to torment we few who survived their mercy. Needless to say, I aim to put an end to all that. You've heard the pitch, so what's the answer? You interested in hunting Decaysine with me? Not a whit of hesitation. I like you, sinner. Nevertheless, I'll need you to humor me and prove you're the dab hand I think you are, for my sake as well as yours. I've heard reports of stray eaters drifting close to the Crystarium. Come with me and put my mind at ease. There you are. Very good. The Sin Eaters were sighted west of the Censer Gate, so we'll need to head through there before we begin our search. Oh, and if you happen to have any objections to killing Eaters for sport, remember that many were once innocent people. You'd be doing them a favor putting them out of their misery. Good, clean work. This is clearly not your first time. Let's do this once more just to confirm it wasn't a fluke, though. Besides, the world could do less with less Sin Eaters. Follow me, it shouldn't be much further. Yeah, that'll do. You're exactly the sort of man I've been looking for, and thank the gods for that. My apologies for subjecting you to such a silly test, but I'd rather not have an amateur's death on my conscience. Let's head back to the Wandering Stairs and make this official, shall we? So, just to make sure you're still keen on our arrangement, MSQ, will you join with me and hunt the dread fiend Daikaisin and put an end to his accursed existence? Excellent. Then it is settled. Now, every hunt begins with an investigation, and ours is no exception. Daikaisin can be a rather difficult eater to pin down, but before we commence ours, we would do well to attend our respective preparations. Let me know when you are ready to proceed. All set to embark on a great hunt? Then let us be about it. Before you even ask, I have no intention of leading us out into the wilds without even an inkling of their whereabouts. Norvrant may not be a particularly large realm, even before the flood, but it'd take us a dozen lifetimes to scour every nook and cranny. So we'll start by asking around a place I know for a fact Daikaisin has attacked before, the village of Wright on Kalusia. While I don't have reason to believe he will return, I'd like to think that the survivors might know something of value. After all, you can be sure that they haven't forgotten the day the bastard came through. So let us be off then. Welcome to Right. I reckon it might not seem like much to you, but to me, never mind. We'll save that conversation for after. Tracking down Daikaisian is what matters right now. Let's split up and ask what after the bastard. Better odds of turning up useful information that way, I wager. Now, are they gonna be the blue quests, or are they gonna... No, I don't think so. Granson's talking to that one. Here we go. What do you want with me? I don't know why I did that like that. The Sin Eater? The one that came and killed everyone? Oh gods, is he here? Then why are you talking about him? Oh, I knew I should have stayed inside. There's nothing but death out here now. Death and horror and eaters and... Yeah. Alright, cool. So we're looking for... there we go. Blue quests with the funky symbol. Backwards E. The dolphin foot. The dog foot. Where did you come from? And what do you want with me? Daikaisian. That thrice damned eater, that splitting image of a gougent knight? That a Daikaisian? I can't help you. All I know is that when he came, he... Wicked white. If you had seen the carnage, you would... I'm sorry. Can't talk about this. Well, learn anything worth sharing? Wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. What we saw that day, what he did to us. There's no moving on from that. What exactly happened here? Well, I was planning to tell you the whole story eventually, but I suppose now is as good time as any. I was born and raised in Right. Lacking any real prospects, I eked out a living as a hunter. Might have tried my hand at something more exciting had I not always been trying to provide for the love of my life, Melinda. It was about a year ago that she accepted a commission from this Yulmoran trader. Bloke dealt mostly in antiques, and he had this bracelet in need of restoration. Bloody old with a questionable provenance, but supposedly it once belonged to royalty or some such. Fangs of Orthus, he called it. Me and her had been talking about trying to tying the proverbial knot. Buying land, building a home, that sort of thing. Around here, that might not take much, but it was still a lot more than we had. So when the trader made this offer, she didn't hesitate to say yes. I'd gone down to the shipyards to pick up extra tools and materials she needed for the work. Quality stuff, but it'd pay for itself 10 times over. When I got back to Right, Daikaisian had been busy. I spied at least a dozen newborn eaters fluttering about, trying to make sense of their new lot. The grandmother who lived next door and shared the fruits of her orchard with us. The gruff woodsman who brought firewood to our doorstep in the dead of winter. Both of them reduced to mindless fiends just like that. There wasn't much time to mourn or to think. I started to look for Melinda, and there she was, alive and well. Our eyes met. We knew it was going to be all right. We ran for each other, and... even now, a year later, it doesn't feel real. One moment she was there, right there, in front of me, and the next she was... I knelt and took the fangs of Orthus, then left, leading a host of sin eaters out of Right. Melinda, I still couldn't see her as anything else. She wouldn't budge. She just hovered there and stared, waiting for me to end it. Well, I could never say no to her, not once in the years we'd been together. For all the times she'd welcomed me home with a bowl of hot stew. All the times she laughed at my crude jokes and gave me counsel when I was losing my way. For all that and more, I killed her. I swore then and there I'd have my vengeance. Daikayasan would die by my hand. I carved the scars on my flesh to mirror the ones he left on my soul, an enduring reminder of the vow that I never dare stray from the path. All done. No need to wallow in it. Wouldn't want my tragic yet trite tale to put you off our hunt. Still with me to the end, sinner. That's the spirit. Still, I have some unfinished business here, so if you could give me a moment before we resume, I would be most grateful. Sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm sure you're eager to get back to it, as am I. Trouble is, in your absence, I failed to turn up any information as to the whereabouts. There is one line of inquiry I've yet to pursue, though. Fangs of Orthus, the bracelet my beloved was supposed to restore and that the Eater took with him when he left Right. Sin Eaters are mindless fiends driven only by base instinct. Everyone knows that. They've no need for worldly possessions. Yet Daikayasan took the bracelet anyway, which can only mean that there's something unique about this particular antique, or the sinless bastard somehow different from the rest of his ilk. Either way, I think we need to learn more about the Fangs of Orthus, and I know just the man to ask, the Yulmoran trader who commissioned Melinda's services. Much as I'd like to question him myself, though, I don't think that's an option. Even though Daikayasan's attack a year ago is common knowledge, I doubt the trader will believe that an Eater stole his precious trinket. He is more likely to accuse me of theft than have me clapped in irons. So I'm afraid you'll have to go in my stead. Melinda said he was a regular at the Beehive, so try to look for him there first. And what do I have the pleasure that is your company? The Fangs of Orthus, you say? How very interesting. I should be glad to tell you everything that I know, under the assumption that should you recover it, you will see it to return to its rightful owner at once. I had purchased the bracelet from a traveling peddler who claimed it was a relic of Vobard, that glorious kingdom that fell with the flood like so many others. He spoke true, from what I could tell, and I intended to sell it to a collector here for a tidy profit, after having it properly restored by an artisan in Right. Alas, she was one of several casualties of a Sin Eater attack during which the Fangs of Orthus mysteriously vanished. I have, of course, been keeping in touch with several contacts on the off chance that the thief might attempt to sell it. They have not, regrettably, but a piece of similar design did recently surface in Mordsuk, I am told. I was planning to dispatch an agent to investigate, but you seem more than capable of fulfilling that role. As for incentive, you may be assured that any information that aids me in the acquisition of the Fangs of Orthus or similar relics will be well rewarded. So, what did our industrious patron have to say? So he thinks it was stolen. Just as well. Probably not know where to head next if it wasn't for his distrusting nature. If this piece of similar design is related to the Fangs of Orthus, then it might attract Daikaisen's attention, assuming it hasn't already. Let's go. Fine weather we're having today in Mordsuk, isn't it? No such thing as a thing without value. That's the creed of these folk. We'll find no short of overtide trinkets here. Finding the right one, on the other hand, is the challenge. I say divide and conquer as before. Well met, well met. How may I be of service to you? Oh, a choker that once belonged to Vertipetite, you royalty, you say. If only I had such a remarkable treasure in my possession. But no, I do not. In all my years here, I have never heard of even someone unearthing such a thing. Yes? Do you have business with me, traveler? Ah, the Vertipetite choker. Is that what all this fuss is about? Then you're in luck, for my husband has yet to sell it. Once we realized how valuable it was, though, he insisted on carrying it with him at all times. If you're not willing to wait for him to return, you could try to find him at the ruins where he's scavenging for relics. They're not far. What news, friend? Ah, to think that it was that easy. You've the luck of the Fae. But we need to hurry. My theory is correct, and so long as that scavenger has the choker, he's a target for Daikaisen. 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 Jesus Christ. Mercy! Mercy! Take whatever you want, but please don't kill me. I have a family. Please, I beg of you. Oh, I can still talk. Yeesh. Interesting that they disappeared like Asians. Shame you missed the fun. This one bit off more than he could chew. Probably because it was a newborn. You can tell by the lingering vestiges of intelligence and self. You can see it in their eyes. Like when Daikaisen... don't tell me. You saw him. Wicked White. And he took the choker too. Damn it. Damn it all. He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. It's just like right. I was too late to save him, just like I was too late to save her. But not again. Never again. I'll hunt you to the ends of the world, Daikaisen. Vengeance will be mine. Right, yes. Neither the time nor the place. More eaters could be about. It's just, every time I cut one down, it reminds me of my first. Of her. We may have failed to stop him this time, but what matters is that we'll both live to see another day. Pity the scavenger didn't, and the wife doesn't yet know she's become a widow. Sod it. I'll tell her what happened. I've been there, so maybe it'll help me to find the right words. Not that there ever are any. Afterwards, I'll have a good think about our next step. Don't let me keep you from your other affairs. We'll speak again soon. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this one. We'll continue more of Granson's quest, and therefore our chance to speak more with Grinalt in the next one. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying me going through story, and I hope you are. And I hope that's why you've been watching this whole time, and we'll see you in the next one.